Hey y'all, it's Renegayde, and let's spill some reality on RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Season 7 is on, you lucky cows, so make sure you like and subscribe for more, as you're not going to want to miss a single spot of content this season. In this episode, I'm not allowed to make any more cow jokes because the lucky cow is over, meaning this week's design challenge will not only take our queens on a ride through the first 6 seasons of the show, but it will also be the reason why one of our queens is the first one sent packing officially. But before we dive in, let me introduce my co-host, and he wins the award for most painfully distasteful. It's QuackerrJack!
Hello! Only thing distasteful about me are my reads. I'm mean. That's okay. I'll accept that beautiful honor.
Well, I'm glad you do, because, we did a lot of accepting of awards this weekend. As we were talking about last week, Jack, we did find out that UK7, the premiere, it did happen to win a reward. And that reward is that it was tied with Thailand 3 for the worst international premiere ranking ever. And I think actually the second worst episode of Drag Race UK of all time. So obviously the painfully and distasteful question that we have to ask here is, based on how universally the fan base found that premiere so painful and distasteful, did episode 2 change your perspective on the season at all, Jack?
No, I would say it more so How would I say that? It more so confirmed everything we knew was going to happen, I would say, right?
I mean, there were a few questionable decisions made. I don't know if I'm as offended as you are as offended this episode.
I'm offended a lot, but yeah.
I do think ultimately the correct queen won and the correct queen went home. So I think that's an improvement, personally. So, and we got some good workroom drama. So I can't say I'm hating that much. But yeah, the judging the season is going to be a problem, I think. But we can go ahead and we kind of start with some of the workroom drama before we get into why maybe there might be some questionable judging going on here. And kind of starts right away when Pasty, again, if you'll remember, was revealed to get the most votes as the Lucky Cow last week. And it looks like, from what the votes were gathering here, she got like an overwhelming majority of them, and then Taurus and Nyang Bella. And there was a lot of talk about like Nyang Bella kind of being like an airhead and maybe not knowing where she's going. Do you feel like maybe they're underestimating her? Because I kind of think that they are.
Here's the thing. If I was in the room with Neon Bella, I would love her. She is the kind of queen I live for. I think her energy is so much fun. I I don't think she has a chance of winning the season. But that being said, I would not be surprised if she pulls out something shocking and gets a win at some point. But she is a very newer queen, and I think that has something to do also with why maybe she's not as beloved by the cast. That being said, I do think the votes were interesting. 4 for Pasty, 3 for Taurus, 2 for Neon Bella. Like, it was a decent split, but I think the most I guess maybe the girls thought that Pasty was going to lose. I probably would have voted for Taurus just because I thought it would have been the most unfair for her of all people to be in the bottom 2 and get sent home. But the girls are not me. I am not the girls. They might feel differently with how their connections are, but I don't know. My feelings about this season and this is that um most of last season the bottom was already a mess. So like the voting was a mess, and it feels like the vote was just kind of set up to guarantee no matter what happened, we could say one girl chose this, one girl chose that, right? And so I don't know. I don't know what would have happened if Pasty didn't lose the lip sync, but it was just another gag, a fake gag to like let us not have a single person get eliminated. They could have just said we're doing a top 2, blah blah blah, but instead
We got a stunt, girl. We got a stunt.
we got a stunt, and we got what may go down in history as one of the worst lip syncs of all time, in which case both participants already apologized for their performance. And so let's get rid of that and just get into the episode again. After they reveal that who they voted for were feeling away, well, the tension and the drama does not stop there.
No, it does
Because
not.
wouldn't
It's
you know it, the mini challenge, everyone's getting exposed once more. And I was like, oop, oop. Because not only are you showing who you're voting for, you're showing who you're voting for five different categories.
And I gotta love the quick nod to Claudia Winkleman, host of UK Traders. Love her. Love you,
Oh
Claudia.
my
Love you
god.
so much. And I was so mad when the young Bella did not know who you were. I was like, girl, how do you not know
She is
Claudia?
very
How do you
young.
not know
She is
Claudia?
very young. I'm gonna give her she's just one of those young sweethearts who doesn't know some of the elders and people that she should, and that's okay. There's time for growth and learning. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you know,
Well, I thought it was also fun too. We got Raven in the workroom. Always fun to see Raven here, our season 2 winner officially. Um,
yes.
and she gives away some titles here. And as we learn, yeah, these titles definitely start, and I feel like an arc for another two queens here. So, was there any of the titles between Bones being named Miss Beautiful, Elvas being named Miss Delightful, Viola being named Miss Painful, or Patsy being named Most Distasteful, and the next queen to go home that shocked you, Jack?
I was shocked that Elle was voted Miss Delightful. I was shocked. I was like, but Neon Bella's right there. She's like so funny. Ha ha ha. Like I loved her. I thought that, some of the girls would have loved her. So, I was shocked. I was shocked about that. I think the other thing that I was
Only one
shocked
Viola got
about,
shocked, girl. Viola was
well,
shocked too.
yeah, yeah. I think the other thing was like how funny it was that Viola didn't pick up on the fact that they didn't necessarily like her as much, but also how the situation ends up getting handled, which we'll get into in a little bit later. But you
We can
know,
get into it right now, actually, because that's kind of
okay, let's
the
get
next
into it.
spot I was going with. Because she does not have a good reaction to her being named Miss Distaste, or sorry, Miss Painful, and it feels like too that Katrin is in the background, just egging her on the whole time, to the point where, for me, I was kind of feeling for Viola because she was in her feelings, she was feeling some type of way, and then you have Katrin just completely, completely trying to make her feel in her feelings the whole time, like. I don't know. I felt a shadiness from Katrin. I haven't really. She feels like the queen that is going to be very much so pushed this season. If you're a Katrin fan, sorry, but she's had two tops where I don't believe she should have been in the top either time. Could have been the bottom one of the times, but you know, I don't see what they are seeing in Katrin at this time here. So when all this was going down between her and Viola, I was kind of team Viola personally. I have to ask though, Jack, do you think they're setting Viola up for a possible villain arc? Because they did have her kind of being the first one being a little bit shady. She was the first one where she was like rolling her eyes at the fact that somebody wasn't eliminated. And then she kind of has this moment here where she's in her head the whole time. And I think she has a proper reaction, but then they immediately go back to her having another shady moment before the runway where she calls out, I believe, Bonnie and Pasty as the two queens she thinks are most in trouble. And as we'll learn later, she also joins them. I'm very curious where they're planning on going with Vio's edit because I feel like we might be seeing the emergence of the season's villain.
Girl, this is for sure a villain arc. Like Viola is just getting played dirty. I feel like in their face. Like, okay, so Viola wasn't the most aware of how she was affecting the group. She had that one moment where she kind of cut someone off in the pre-episode like chat at the table, and so now she's like the villain because everyone had to pick a name. And it was like, okay, so, Katrin is supposed to be now having this issue with her, but then now she's being nice and saying, well, I guess if I were in that situation, how would I feel about that? And I'm like, yeah, like, if you were in that situation, you'd probably feel away, but Viola is in her head. They have gotten to her completely. She is just, out in left field now. She's like, I have to show these girls what I can do. And she is just so far gone. But the funniest part about this is not only Viola getting painted as like the villain, then all the girls being like, "Oh no, girl!" Even though they all voted for her to be like the one they don't like. Neon Bella was like, "Girl, I got time for this." Neon Bella's just
Yes.
sitting over there like, "I'm not doing this."
I'm dying. Everybody's crying and hugging around her, and she's just focused on her fabrics.
And
Ugh.
I don't blame her personally. I was like, Neon Bella says she doesn't know really how to do these things that well. She's trying to make sure that she doesn't get the same critiques as last time and that it's too basic. She said, I'm going to make sure I don't end up in the bottom two because I know I'm in danger if I do. And I don't blame her because this is not RuPaul's best friends race. You can have sympathy for girls, you can be nice to girls. I mean, we saw Viola say that she would help some people but not others, and I agree with that too. And they were mad about that. I was like, how are you going to be mad that a girl is not helping you? She doesn't have to. She
No.
does not have to. And when people were like, well, she could have been nice. And I was like, and the girls could have voted for someone else, like tit for tat right now. Like,
Okay,
unfortunately,
Tate McRae.
well, there we are. Unfortunately for her, though, it's like she already feels like she's got to prove herself again because now she has this terrible image that all girls think of her. I think with all the other ones, it was like, okay, worst drag, like, ha ha ha, kind of bad, but not so bad, right? Most fateful, like, to go home. It was an easy one to pick the loser of the lip sync. Like, you could really find a way for it. But Viola had no idea. She had no clue that she had rubbed anyone the wrong way. And you know what? Maybe it's just she got really excited about wanting to say something. She didn't wait for someone. She cut it off, and that's annoying. But I mean, it's the small things that can matter. This is like in outfits. It's those details, girl. They can matter, and
Hmm.
we see it here. And funnily enough, though, because Pasty was named most likely to go home and Miss Distasteful, she gets to pick what girls are in what groups on this thing.
And let's talk about this challenge here, Jack, because basically that was what our runway is our maxi challenge. Always love those days. And this week's theme is a rumble in the jumble. And based on a jumble sale, which is kind of like a yard sale, rummage sale, they basically will make iconic and upcycled looks from the leftovers of past seasons. And as you said, Pasty gets to assign the stalls. Season 1 goes to Young Bella and Terrace. Season 2 goes to Bonnie and Elle. Season 3 goes to Bones and Celexa. Season 4 goes to Pasty and Katrin. Season 5 goes to Chai and Sam. I mean Sally, sorry, Sally. And
Yeah.
season 6 goes to Page 3 and Viola. Do you think any of the seasons had obviously advantage over the others? Because I definitely think season 3 probably would have been the hardest to work with because it seemed like they had the most unconventional materials out of all of them.
You know what? I think I disagreed. I don't think I fully agree with that. I hated what Pasty chose for herself. I was like, girl, I want nothing to do with that, like, kind of thing going on. I wasn't here for it. I don't know. There was something about those materials I wasn't living for. And maybe that's like a me thing, but then her and Catherine feelings, which we know, we've both said already that haven't thought that they were the highest of the game when it came to the drag aesthetic. So I was nervous when I saw that table. I was like, ugh, man, that's going to be rough. Um, and I said, there are some like fabrics over here, right? We can use that. But I wasn't really feeling what was going on there. And, the one thing I did think that I was kind of nervous about was, and I might be reading too far into this, but Neon Bella and Taris both being assigned group one, I was confused because I was like, are they good friends? Like, what's the idea for this? Like, they said they were trying to like be kind to everyone, and I was just so confused by this because I was like,
Are you saying because it's two black girls together?
I did feel that way. I was like, the fact that she put the two black girls together immediately, I was like, huh. It made me like, did that not make you feel a little like, wait a second, hold up.
I mean, I was trying not to read too much into it. It was kind of like, oh, okay, that's weird, but also like I didn't see like an inherent disadvantage or advantage with really any either table. Like I said, outside of the third one, which had the most unconventional materials, just because whenever you have a challenge like this where they mix the unconventional materials and the actual materials, unless your unconventional material look is like S plus 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 kimchi tier kind of thing, I feel like it's very hard to compete against someone who's allowed to just use regular fabric. And I kind of feel like that's maybe what happened in this challenge because we find out here that again our top three ends up being Bones, Catherine Feelings, and Sally Trademark. And I do definitely agree with Bones and Sally being there. Absolutely.
Oh,
They were
there's
the two
the
best looks of
there's
the night, I think for sure.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Katrin, though, she even said her look herself was unfinished and basically just admitted to being on your nerve with just, let me just sell it right. And I'm just like, okay, well, please let's not do this anymore in these design challenge where we give more points to the presentation of the outfit than what the actual outfit is. Because I get it, they have to sell it, but like we still have to look at it on the main stage afterwards. And I'm just like, this was safe at best, girl. Sorry.
Okay, let's talk about it because I think this was the elephant in the room. No shade. But she showed us the unfinished hems, she showed us the strings, and this outfit, I want to give her the credit of I wouldn't have put her in the bottom. Like, no way I would put her in the bottom because it was executed well. The concept, not my favorite. Wasn't really feeling that. Also, when she was doing the walkthrough thing and they were like, punk, but like make it I don't know what she exactly was going for, but like campy. And I was like, she was like, these things are totally different. And I was like, would I say punk and campy are super different? Actually, no, because I think they still fall in a realm of alternative. Um, when we're thinking about like different styles of drag and color wise, maybe. But what she ended up doing was just let me put some metal on, let me put some black and purples together, and some purple black tartan, right, with a couple chains. And I was like, this was executed well. It is what looks like a bodysuit or shirt kind of thing, and then strict leather kind of like to the body material, and then these handkerchiefs throughout. Like, I mean, there were good elements to it, but this is a case of it was executed well. The look isn't good, and so I was shocked to see her in the top. I think we were all shocked to see her in the top. I personally felt like maybe Tayrus should have been in the top or page three. I know Tayrus's was a little more on the like classy, little basic, but quite honestly, I was surprised as someone who said she wasn't really good with this that she pulled out something like this. Um, it was simple, but it was well done. The concept was there. She picked a good fabric. She made it go throughout. She had cutaways. She used the pearls and then the strings of them and how they work together. And then she even included one of those unique materials with the bottle and sipping on it. And she looked like a tall glass of water. I liked her. I really enjoyed what she gave us here. And I think it was a great coming up from last week's. And so the top was mostly correct. But this bottom, let's talk about these bottom girls.
Yeah, so the bottom girls end up being Miss Viola, Miss Bonnie and Clyde, and Pasty, and sorry, Pasty. No, I was right.
Past, yeah.
Pasty, Pasty. I'm never gonna
Is
get it
it
right. I need
past?
to like Pasty to me feels like it should have two S's because Pasty. I don't know. It should have another S there. But anyway, yeah, that ends up being our bottom three, and I will be very honest. I do agree with Bonnie being there. I see the reasoning why Pasty and Viola are in the bottom three. I don't know if I would agree putting them bottom two, just because
Not a
for
chance
me,
now.
and I think for you as well too, there was one safe queen that I think definitely stood out to both of us as someone that I'm like, well, why aren't they in the bottom? And that is Elbosk. I'm not sold
Once
on her. I'm sorry.
again, Al Vosk ruining the runway but getting praised for it. Yeah, Al Vosk, her outfit was literally a piece of fabric cut to look like an outfit with small strips of unconventional materials put on top of it. Like, yes, it was mostly made out of tarp. I think the whole thing was mostly made of tarp. It was creative. I did like that. But the way that she used the, if you want to call it fringe, I guess off the dress, trash. Mama trash. There were barely any fringe to cover up the fact that it was poorly put together. You could see the edges were bad. Baby, if she did not have this tarp made boa, which I think is the only thing that saved her, what were we thinking? Like, and the worst part is, and I'm not saying it doesn't take time. I'm not saying it's not difficult, but Mama, she has a stripper heel on, clear straps. It's silver. She's got a flat ass wig. The makeup is so so. Hoop earrings. She looks like she's a hooker. Like, she's looking very hooker esque with a boa.
It's also
And
kind of
if
giving
it,
me some Let's Get Seasickening ball from season 17. Like, it would fit in
it
there. She would probably be above Lana there. She'd be safe there.
well,
But
that's the lowest bar we could get.
yeah, I don't think the other elements that maybe that they're looking at here, like, again, the hair, the makeup, what, the accessorizing, whatnot. I don't see any accessorizing, actually. But, yeah, like, the head up, it's
There's a
okay,
hoop here
but
and there's a hoop here.
yeah, I'm not sold on this. I'm sorry. It's giving
This is,
tart crash. Sorry. Um,
and it's so clever to make the tarp into a boa, and it looks good. The boa looks great, actually.
it
Um,
does. It does look good.
and
That's the
you could
best part.
continue this tarp thing, but why not use other pieces of fabric or anything that accentuates to really give us something more than just this is a blue tarp that I cut up. And I'm questioning it because I'm like, if you look at who she's paired with in this group, right? Like, go back a step. Who is she paired with? She's paired straight up with Bonnie and Clyde, which we can also talk about because she was at the bottom. And Bonnie and Clyde mostly used fabrics, and I was like, it wasn't like there weren't fabrics there. It wasn't like there wasn't other options. I just don't think she made the correct choices, and that is very apparent in design challenges. And so this is the one outlier that we both had. We were like, how is this here? And I thought it should have been those two in the bottom, actually, her and Bonnie and Clyde. And the craziest thing about Bonnie and Clyde's, what to me was that at first I liked it, and then I saw below the waist.
Yeah, it really
Ugh.
the waist down is just not flattering at all. Even like we're even like I think we're giving a little bit of grace to that uh the material she used
Uh,
on the bottom, using it around her neck. We're giving that even a little bit of grace because that looks a little bit cheap the way
yes.
she has that put together there too. But
Well, and when you see it when she goes down the runway, you'll start to see that it starts to come apart a little bit. It's not fully finished, and you're like, oh. And she essentially just wrapped a piece of fabric around her waist, calling it a belt. And I was like, and then she used it as the finishing touch of the bottom, so it works, like quote unquote. It just did not work. In case anyone was wondering,
no,
shape
doesn't work.
good, execution terrible. Okay, I want to mention the nice things about her. The fur consistent on the cuff here with her other arm. This is a beautiful asymmetrical design. It's very simple, but it gets the job done well. She used a lot of the materials well. The issue is the finishing on the top of the asymmetrical collar and the finishing on the bottom.
I do
Also,
like the beat
because
too, but I don't think it was enough to save her from the bottom.
oh
The
yeah,
actual
yeah.
single
She
bottom.
should have been bottom two. I was shook. And in the like I could not believe that this look did not get bottom two. And you know what it really reminded me of was season 8 when Robbie Turner's not in the bottom two for the first
Yes.
outfit. I was like, and like this is where everything just like is really starting to come apart with the season. It's like the judging here, I don't know who is doing the like judging, but clearly someone's been paid off. I don't know what's going on. We hate people. I'm so confused. And going off of our other album too, honestly, don't think Pasty should have been there. I want to clock something the judges did too. Now her makeup and her hair terrible. Now take that away, put your hands over the face and right, and the hair isn't so bad if you don't see the makeup. It's not great, but it's still a timepiece. It makes sense. When you look at the
Makeup's really
materials,
bad.
the makeup is really bad. So put your finger over it, right? And don't already know what you see there, right? So when you see her make a like this cat suit pantsuit thing, right? No, it's a pantsuit. Why am I saying catsuit? We're like judging her like, huh, this is a girl who doesn't sew. She used a pattern. It didn't come out perfectly. But guess what? When she presented on that runway, bitch, I was living. I was sold for it. I said, okay, Pasty, I see you. You made an outfit. It's not the best. It's definitely not the worst, not even close. I said, Miss Pasty, that's a pass, baby. You made that. And I was like, it's very simple. Can I tell you how this just reminded me 100% of like Trixie Mattel during All Stars 3? And I was like, y'all were living for it
Yes,
then. But
right.
then the judges clocked her saying, oh, well, the seams one's at the knee and one's a little under the knee and blah, blah, blah. And I said, wait, wait, wait. So you're going to clock her for the different, when you look at it, you see a seam here, a seam there you didn't like. But when Katrin Feeling literally has strings hanging off, we're not going to clock it? Okay. Okay. So I was like, it doesn't make sense. The judging is very inconsistent here for me. And I was like, I
Yeah.
feel like they just wanted Pasty to go because she's nice, but she wasn't winning. She was just a very charismatic girl. And I nothing against Pasty. I mean, I even said that I thought they would love her because she's so charismatic. They didn't, they weren't feeling her, and that's fine. They had other girls that they're trying to push. Yes, I am saying they're trying to push girls. Yes, I am looking at you, Elle, and you, Katrin. And if you're feeling other ways about that, girl, you're wrong and you need to check it at the door. Um, so sorry to tell you a fact. But um I look at her and I look at Viola, and I want to talk about Viola for a second because I know some girls were like, well, yeah, Viola was in the bottom. I don't think it was that bad. There was a mishap on the top left shoulder thing, but overall, this was kind of impressive what she did with this time. I mean, the wig line is rough, right? The effect that she was going for didn't exactly pay off. The spider legs, though, was kind of cute, and I guarantee you, if Al or Katrin had worn this, they would have said, "Yeah, you did great." Now that one mishap in the top left where we can see the connection of the arm to the sleeve and the stuff. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. Yeah, we could use more material. But even the abdomen on the back and everything, I thought that it was successful enough not to be in the bottom three. And I was really struggling deciding who I think should be in the bottom three this week with the other two girls because I thought the most important thing was that I get the bottom two of Bonnie versus Al. But I kind of, out of left field, I'm gonna say it. I'm tired of seeing girls kind of give us nothing, and I wasn't feeling Chai Tea Grande at all.
Ooh.
I know, I know. Now, hear me out, girls. Hear me out. I know this is crazy, right? But going off what the judges had said in the judging, right? Okay. Her seam to the dress to the bottom part is crookedy as hell. The hula hoop underneath it is pulling that Alexis Mateo from season 5 of All Stars, but they clocked so hard, right? Is that not the pool thing where you see it go to the hula hoop and then straight down? Tell
It
me I'm wrong.
is. No,
You
you're right.
can't,
It was
right,
definitely
right.
giving Alexis Mateo energy for sure.
And let's not act like this isn't just a stretch fabric dress, right? Connected to that bottom part, that trumpet skirt kind of, or what it was supposed to be a trumpet skirt. It looks like a Christmas tree skirt that you know, poorly put in there. And then she just makes these little cushions of red with hearts on them that don't add anything, and they're just put on there to look less boring. But honestly, I think they make it look ugly. I think it's a huge style issue. I want some critiques for this. I'm not saying she should be bottom two, but as much as you wanted to critique Tayrus last week for, well, just be knowing that this is a thing, I mean, Chai Tea Grande, do you know who she is? Do you know her drag? What are you getting from her? Because I have gotten nothing, baby. Like, I still don't know who Chai Tea Grande is. And maybe that's just like a personal thing with me, but I have not been feeling it. I have not been seeing it. I don't know who she is. And the only thing she did was stretch fabric, stretch fabric, and to cover up the seam that clearly wasn't going to be good at the hem at the bottom, put the fur on top of it, right? And the fur, a good idea, doesn't go anywhere else throughout. The bracelets are covering up the endings of the hems over here. You can't see the hem on the neck, but I bet if we go there, it won't be as well done as we think it is, right? So that's just the things that I really am like, I'm not sure how to feel about this. And
I
I hate it. I really hate this outfit.
could see that. I do
I'm
get
getting
it.
so
The
much
pillows
hate for no
feel like
reason.
the pillows just feel like they're very out of place and random. They don't really feel like they make much sense, but I mean, I could get it. But between like, I mean, really, the bottom two, I feel like it's at least for us. I
It's
feel like it's very clear.
oh,
The
Bonnie and Elle.
third,
It didn't
I see
matter.
the reasons why Viola is there or why she might need a talking to. I could see maybe why they would want to speak to Pasty, even though I still am a little shocked because I think what I was even telling you too when she walked out, I was like, oh, they're gonna give her the win because this looks not bad. Like I didn't
No.
notice the uneven theme until they literally told us, and there's other things that I did see that I did notice from the other girls that felt like it was a lot more
Yeah.
unfinished or a lot more worthy of critique than what happened to her. So, uh, but I want to end on a positive note here, Jack.
Yeah, so let's get back to the girls who deserved it.
Let's talk about Bones and Sally trademark because we just completely just bypassed them to talking to all the things that we were so hateful about. But I really am feeling both of these two queens. They have two very they're very similar in certain ways, but they're also very different in other ways. Because Sally is very demure. Bones, she's demure, but in like a posh spice way, where it's like she still knows that she's hot, but it's just she's just not a loud personality, right? So I'm very happy to see both of them get their flowers in this episode. I kind of go back and forth between which one I think should deserve to win because Bones's outfit is very simple, yes, in some ways, but there's so much detail to the simplicity that she has. The way she color
Mhm.
coordinated all of the gym mats, and the fact that she made this all out of gym mats to begin with is insane. But Sally's outfit to me is just so creative and like it's a mix of a lot of different silhouettes that shouldn't work but it really does. She really pulls it off. And I am a sucker for a stupid look with cupcakes or sweets or food or anything on it, sadly. So yeah, I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Like initially, I think I was pulling for Bones, but I'm not upset at Sally winning at all. I think that either one would have been a deserved win.
I think they both did something so smart. Bones talked about it. She said, as a girl who's not the greatest at sewing, I think using these unconventional materials and really just creating a look to place on myself, like it really worked. It really framed her body so well. We haven't seen her be all body yet, so she can get away with that, you know. But at the same time, it wasn't just her doing a penny and a bra like normal. It was like she made it out of these yoga mats. They notice how she curved the yoga mats and used it to make the ribbons go down. And RuPaul even said it looked exactly like her picture, and it did. It did. And look, the hair placed backwards with the hoop earrings. Notice how this really accentuates the limited view of her neck and the muscles here and whatnot. The structure is beautiful on the bone structure alone. And what you can see from this, it really just opens up that little bit of chest and that little bit of neck you get there. It really elongates her. Because imagine if her hair had been in front of her, yeah, it would have been a problem. If it had been up, it would have been okay, but it wouldn't have gone with the ribbons, you know? The downward swooped back was such a smart idea. It's these small details, I say it over and over again, make so much of a difference. The way she used the white on the yoga mats to give it shadow and dimension of this bow that she
Yes.
made and the ribbon, and it looks like an extension of her hair. It looks beautiful. And I've never been able to say this about a girl who did so little on the runway, it feels, but yet she captured it so correctly. And I want to give her that praise because she deserves it. And especially after last week, she got snubbed not being in the top. I was like, I'm glad you're finally seeing that Bones is a person that exists. Like, thank God. Now, let's get to our winner of the week, Sally. Now, look, Sally's look is not perfect to me, but no one's is. This is made so well. I love the little ruffling around the bottom and the side up into that little cheeky just like here's a little placement of this blue that matches this perfectly uh I don't even know what you would call these. They're more like arm warmers or something because they're not gloves because they don't go to the hands. They don't even go to the elbows, but they're like this white and blue that kind of matches into this plaid picnic setting that we have. You know, we have the plaid yellow and white. We have the blue and white. It's like it goes together so well. My really only concern is the mixing of the patterns is so smart, but I don't like the headpiece as much. But I see how, or not the headpiece, I should say, I don't like the wrap around the head. I think that had the white and black polka dotted stopped right at her neck, that could have been better for me. But at the same time, because she decided to do a tie around her chin for this headpiece to go on, it makes sense narratively. I'm not the biggest fan of the makeup. I love the little swirl of the hair, the little, we see it. Um, I just think she used some of these like these materials so well, and she didn't even have to do too much with it, right? Like especially the half off the side, like skirt almost element of the blue is just so smart because she could have just done it in this yellow and done ruffles on the other side, right? And it could just been matchy matchy, but this makes it asymmetrical. There's more to look at. It's fun, and also the band at the top, really the band at the top above her breast, kind of thing. This is the area. It accentuates the shoulders. It really brings in her arms. It makes her skinny, and it shows off more of this uh, hourglass figure, as you see, because it kind of gives you the top of the hourglass in ways that some dresses like that don't always do. But this makes her really give her that shape and pulls in her body so well that it does so many good things. And finally, I want to mention something so smart, using shoes clear shoes and wrapping the fabric around her feet. It was smart. It was
Hmm.
smart. It was really talented. I loved it. Few things I would change, but she really showed us who she is. And outside of her PA Mondrian jacket that I despise in her confessional look, this was so good for Sally.
I'm surprised you have so much praise for Sally because I was fully expecting you to. No, I am. I actually figured you would like this. So, yeah, this was a very. I feel like a diamond in the rough. Sally is probably going to be. It feels like they're
Oh
making a
yeah,
lot of random like. They're making sure that we're always aware Sally is there, but they're always making sure that we're. It's very kind of like a underdog story in a lot of ways because it's like they're making sure that we understand that they maybe aren't featuring her or they keep forgetting her kind of thing. But it's like, no, she's there. And you're going to remember who Sally is, I think, after this week. So, a very consistent theme with both of the first two challenge winners, but this felt like it was much more organic versus last week. So,
yeah,
uh,
definitely.
but sadly, unfortunately, regardless, we end up with a bottom two of Pasty and Viola. And what is with the queens this year on our English speaking franchises losing their shoes as the pork chop? Lucky Stars did it, and now Pasty joins that list where she lost her shoe in the lip sync. I thought she was going to win anyway, but yeah, she definitely lost it when her shoe fell off and she started taken time to put it back on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So Viola easily stayed there. Pasty becomes our first queen to get eliminated first twice in a season. Maybe has this
It's
happened
not the
before?
first time to be eliminated twice, no.
In the same season.
No, no, because we already had that in last season. Girls lost, and then they got to pull the switch, and then they got eliminated again. you know,
I can't even remember right now. There's so many seasons that we're
season
watching right now. They're
17.
all blending together. No, Harmona went home first, but she wasn't the first queen to actually go home first,
Oh, you mean the
right?
first girl to go home
Yeah,
and
like
also be saved? I'm
and be
sure we've
saved
had
and then
that
go home again the
before.
next week. Like,
No, we've definitely had this before. I believe. I can't think of the issues or the times that it happened off the top of my head, but we have definitely had seasons where a girl was saved and then immediately got booted, and we were like, "What was the point?"
mm, well, either way, let's just move ahead to next week because we already knew this week was going to happen. But next week we got the girl groups. Who thinks going to be most in trouble next week, Jack?
Well, I would tell you maybe Al or Katrin feelings, but that's not true because it doesn't matter what they do, they can't do anything wrong. I would say Chai is in trouble because I don't see her really standing out from the crowd. I would say we might have to look at Neon Bella, just based upon her other kind of. Let's see, how do I say this? Her other performance was not the strongest in the lip sync, right? So I'm a little nervous for her. And I think someone is just going to randomly get in the bottom who's like actually a strong performer, but their team makes it brings them down. We might see like a Celexa in the bottom or someone like a page three possibly hitting the bottom. Not because they deserve it, but you know how we've had those moments where girls have been like, well, you were the leader and your team suffered, and even though you did well, you should have blah blah blah. I could see something like that happening on this season, especially. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, it does feel like they're gonna be like, "Oh, Katrin, you couldn't dance, but wow, your verse was amazing. So you're the
Yes,
winner."
it is giving that on this season very hard.
uh, well, yeah, I could kind of see what you're going with there. Who knows actually though, because like there's a few queens here that I don't know if we really haven't seen anything performance based out of anybody just yet. So this is going to be I think a pretty eye opening challenge for the next few rounds here. But just any final words here for this episode, and hopefully maybe the IMDb rankings will go up this week.
Barely, bitch. Look, this episode reminded us that this season has started off rough. And when I say rough, I mean rough. Now, if this has anything to say, because if we're being real, this design challenge, I'm usually so over the top for design challenges. This design challenge was rough for a lot of the girls. I am hoping and praying that we get a either one more design challenge or just the rest performance challenges, because what I don't need to see is girls coming out in the worst outfits and being praised for it again. If I see it again, I am going to have a brain aneurysm, I think. So I hope we have a lot more performance based challenges. I hope that we keep it together as a community and don't send hate to the girls, even if you don't think they should have won or they should have gone home. Just remember that they don't decide those things. They just try to do their best. So don't send hate. Try to find the positive even when it's hard to, especially on this season.
Yeah,
Same.
well, I feel kind of good because I even said when this whole season started, there's probably a season seven curse, and I think it's showing its ugly head. So, but there are diamonds in this rough here. There are plenty of
Definitely.
good spots here. I think there are some very interesting stories. I think that could be told, and if they allow them to happen naturally, this could actually be a very fun group of queens. So I am still looking forward to seeing how this turns out. And hopefully y'all can either, especially if you lasted this long. And thank you so much for listening. Drop a like, subscribe, and comment below on your thoughts of the ball. Did you agree with this bottom two? Would you have stuck poor little Miss Pasty and whoever else was it, Viola in the bottom
Viola.
two here?
Whoever else.
Whoever
Oh,
else was there.
damn, Viola
Just
getting
because
them.
I'm just like in my head canon, I'm just like I cannot believe Viola has been in the bottom two like this early. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. But you
No,
know,
yeah.
we do love to trigger a queen, so you never know. But I guess we'll find that on the next episode. But again, tell us below your thoughts here. Who would have been your bottom two? And until next time, and on behalf of my co-caster QuackerrJack, this is Renegayde signing out. Remember, keep feeling the y'all. Bye.
Bye.